Good morning. Welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, spinning, and all the yarny goodness in between. I'm Lindsay, and I am coming to you from not Arkansas. I am in Iowa visiting family. So you can see I'm in a different location. Please forgive the lighting situation. This is what I have to work with, so we continue on. Always, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as AlwaysYarnFirst. So welcome. This is episode 24. And before we get started, just a little admin, including a big winner. First, I have two make-alongs currently going through this year. First, I'm co-hosting with my friend Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. It is the Chevron Year Itch. We are making Chevron blankets. And then the second is the Slash My Stash 2022 MAL. And that is, you can make anything. It has to be in your stash from before this calendar year. All right, now for the big announcement, the big winner. Thank you for all of those that watched my video and commented, subscribed to win my homemade advent calendar. This was a giveaway of an advent I had made from my scraps. They're all fingering weight. They're not they are not labeled anything, but there's some goodies in there. It is all packaged up. It's ready to go. And I'll put the picture into the screenshot I did here. The winner is One of a Kate. So she is a new subscriber. So congratulations, Kate. Please email me at alwaysyarnfirst@gmail.com. When you do, your package will get sent out immediately. My husband is not traveling with me, and I have it all boxed up, and he said he would take it to the post office as soon as I got the address. So congratulations, and I hope that you and all the rest of you that have just subscribed stick around. I love that you're here. And let's make some stuff together. All right, so this week, because I'm traveling, I did not bring all my projects. So my finished objects, I will just be putting in pictures of. Yeah, I have a few here, but I didn't want to travel with everything. So we'll have what we're working with here. And what I'm wearing, let's start with that. So what I am wearing is my worsted Boxy. This is by Locatelli. I use MadTosh DK Twist and the color Seaglass, and I finished this in January 2020. I love the feel of this one. I keep saying I want to make another one. It just hasn't happened yet. You know, there's too many projects to make. So, another announcement before I get started, and I'll put in a picture. You guys know I've been working on the Amber Dextrous Socks. This was a test that I did for Blame the Knots, and it is now available to purchase. I have not started my second sock, but I have finished the first one, and it is a very vanilla-y sock. It is a pattern sock, but it's very easy to read, very fun to do. And this is the one I used my yak sock from Treasure Goddess, and I love it. So go check her out. So I will link to her pattern below. All right, so let's get into what I've been working on. Oh, first, see, I'm not at home, so I'm messing up. This week's song, if you're new here, I always name my episodes by songs because I love music, all kinds. And so the song I chose this week is Brand New by Ben Rector. And again, I'll have that linked below if you want to listen to it. So I have two finished objects. So neither of them are here, but I made sure to take pictures, and I will put a picture up while I'm talking about it. The first one is my staple linen top by Locatelli. This was the one that I used Arkansas Yarn Co. Damask Alpaca in the Patina colorway. This is the project that I tried to make 2 years ago, I believe, with Shibui straight linen. And I hated working with it so much. My hands didn't feel nice. Everyone kept saying, just keep going. The end result will be worth it. I couldn't do it. I still have the Shibui linen since I have 2 sweater quantities currently of that linen, and I thought, well, maybe if I give it a couple years, I will try again. We'll see. But I really wanted this garment, and so this was a linen blend, and I loved working with this. It made all the difference where I finished this. I love the garment because it was kind of my last summer cast on. I haven't worn it. I have tried it on, but I haven't worn it, although you easily could just put a cardigan or something over it and it would be great. So I definitely will be using this yarn again. I'm thinking maybe once the hot weather rolls around here again in Arkansas, that I will ask Lori to dye another garment quantity for me and make another summer garment with it. So, all right, and the second thing I finished, super exciting to me, is the Bandana Cowl. This is my first project using my own hand spun yarn. So the yarn is from fiber I got from Gritty Knits. It was what I got at DFW Fiber Fest. She didn't have color names on them, so I've been just calling it peachy pink and hot pink. And I had seen this pattern, Casey Apple, she had posted a picture of it, and I thought, oh, that's, I think the pattern calls for Aran weight. And this yarn that I made from it was chunky, and it was very thick and thin. And I had already thought that a cowl would be a great first project for me because unlike a garment, it doesn't matter if it's so thick and thin because it's just going to kind of lay here. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, that seems like the perfect pattern. And it was great. I love the outcome. I will say for me, I don't know if it was my gauge or my own yarn or any of that, but it was very wide. You start from like the bottom up. So you end at your neck hole basically. And so that was super wide for me. So, and I could tell before I even bound off. So as I was done knitting the pattern, when I was at the bound off row, I actually picked up my crochet hook and crocheted around to tighten it up a bit more like my liking. But I love it. And my daughter was saying as she was seeing me finish it, that she was going to steal it a lot and wear it also. So yeah, I'm very happy with it being my first project, and I continue to hope to be able to spin more fine and eventually have a garment in my hand spun. So yeah, but I'm excited that I just saw it all the way through. So really good. All right, that is all of my finished objects. So I have 3. Well, I put Bandana Cowl as a cast on, but then I cast it on and finished it. So I technically have 2 other cast ons. The first one is a pair of socks. This is in a bag by Knit for Brains. And I'm actually making them for whose house I'm currently staying at, my friend Saralyn. She graciously always lets me stay every time I'm in town visiting family. I kind of like having a quiet place to go and just unwind at night. And she so kindly lets me stay here. And I thought, I haven't knit her anything, so I'm going to knit her some warm winter socks, because when I left Arkansas to come up here, it was 80 degrees, I think. And yesterday it was 32 degrees for the high. So it was cold. So I just picked up a skein of a DK weight yarn I have. And this yarn is by Legacy Fiber Arts. It's called Dragon Eggs 2. And they are one of the companies that have sock yarn in DK, meaning It's wool nylon blend. Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. also has a base with the woolen nylon. So I really think it's important to have the nylon in it for me. So when I started these socks at home, I didn't know what my friend's foot size was. So I just have been basically making a 2. So I just cast on and made this much progress. So I probably won't finish them while I'm here because there's another new project that has really sparked my joy, which I'll show you here in a minute. But yeah, I love these, and I think that she will love them as at least nice house socks to keep her feet warm when she's here. So yeah, not much to these, just vanilla knitting socks. All right, so my second new cast on. So I won't go into much detail, but I was at one point gifted yarn from a sweet friend, and I won't tell the story because it makes me emotional, and it was a very, very, very sweet and thoughtful gift. And it is this yarn. I don't know. The coloring is pretty accurate. So this yarn is Arkansas Yarn Co. And this was like a one-time dye Lori did. And this color is called Moonlight. So this is in her plush DK base. Let me see. Do I have a tag in here? Yes, I do. So it's 100% superwash merino. Yeah, so Moonlight, and I just love this color so much. Yeah, so I obviously, when you have a precious yarn, you want to use it for something precious that you will love and you will cherish. And I, was thinking about what to do. And you guys remember this year when I made the rocket tee. I love that t-shirt. I love that garment so much. It was fun to make. I want to make a million more. Well, she has a DK version of that pattern. And I looked up what the yardage was. And guess what? I had enough yarn of this to make. So I knew I already loved the rocket tee. And I have no doubt that I was going to love this one. So there it is. Now, I probably won't make those, are those called like bell sleeves? Because I just don't usually do full sleeves. You can see this one I'm wearing is before my elbow. So yeah, I love it so much. So I cast this on maybe the day before I left. And then I split up my travels a couple days. But I am literally right now, I am about to split for sleeves. Like my next round is splitting for sleeves. But I don't have the right tools where I'm staying. I have my whole craft cart at my grandma's house where I've been spending all my days. So once I go there, I will actually split. So this is how it's looking. Probably see more in the back. Oh my gosh. I love this so, so much. And I'm so excited about it because, like I said, I already know I'm going to love it because the color just speaks to me. And then it was a gift from a dear friend. And it's going to be special every single time I wear it. So pretty much this is all I have been knitting on. I don't think, since I've gotten here, I've been here like a day and a half, this is the only thing I've knit on. I just haven't wanted to work on anything else because I love it. And the bag it is in one of my Mrs. Brown bag totes, the bee splat tote, which I love. So yeah, I'm interested to see. I had told my friend Christy, I'm like, I don't know, I might come home with a finished sweater, because especially once I split for sleeves, I'm just going to be knitting it around, because my t-shirt, so you have that, the raglan increase there, the yarn overs and such. You can't see it in this picture, but that detail goes down the arm, and I'm not going to do that with this one. Doesn't bother me, but I talked about it with the t-shirt version that I didn't love it, and I kind of found it unnecessary. So with this, I'm literally going to be knitting it around. So once I split for sleeves, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to fly, because I'm sitting at my grandma's all day, so I won't even have to look at it. Yeah, so we'll see how far I am in 2 weeks with this. I am super stoked about it. So yeah, all right, so that's all my new cast-ons. So now let's get into whips. So whips, this one, just my vanilla sock still. I guess I have made a little progress. This is using Night Owl Fibers, Barn Owl Sock in the colorway Sarcasm. So you can see I did make some progress at home since the last time. Just vanilla. I'm not using a pattern. I am, once the new color comes up, the first complete row, I knit 3 and slip 1 to give it that little, what looks like a pattern detail. But that's all I'm doing. So nothing much to say about that. All right, next, my blankets. We're going to talk about this later in goals too. So, haven't worked on it here. I hope to work on it a little bit, but I have made some progress, because I had decided last time I talked about that, because it was getting so big, I'm halving the colors. So you can see where the cherry blossoms, the pink one, and then the next one, the blue one, I used half the amount. And then my border after that, instead of doing 2 white, 6 gray, 2 white, I did 2 white, 4 gray, 2 white. And that's how I'm going to do it till the end of the blanket, which means it's going a lot faster. So I've caught up a little bit. I was a couple months behind, but let's see, where's my marker? I was in the green. So I finished the green. So I still have, the next one I'm literally ready to cast on was the October colorway, which is inspired by Jessa's wedding. And yeah, so that one, and then I have, we're well into November, so November colorway is all wound up. So I'm hoping to do some catch up with this one, which again we'll talk about in goals, but I love it. I can't believe we're so close to the end of the year. This is what we're doing for our make along. Our make along does go till the end of January to give everyone time to finish up their blankets if you are using the Sock Yarn Society Club like we have been using. That you have plenty of time to finish up with those colors. So, one more work in progress. My husband's sweater. And again, I was making decent progress on this, and then I started my new sweater cast on, and yeah, and I need to get working on this. It's still doable that I will finish this as promised by the end of the calendar year, but I need to stay on target. So this is the single malt sweater by Maxim Sear. And doesn't look like I've made a ton of progress since the last time, but you know, it's a work in progress. I had, right before I left for Iowa, I had my husband try it on again because I thought if I worked on this here, I might be able to finish the body. and I wanted to know like how much more I needed to knit before I could start the ribbing. And I think when he tried it on, it was like 1.5 inches I needed to continue on and then do the ribbing. So I really am almost there. And then again, the neckline is already finished, so I just need to do 2 sleeves. So it's still doable. I still got to stay on target, but this is the single malt. And for this one, I am using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted in the Grizzly Heather colorway. And this is in Knick Knack Knits bag. I got the yarn crawl last year. So yeah. All right, so that is all I've been working on, mostly. So I want to talk a little bit about the Stephen West make-along. I don't have it with me, so I can't show it. I'm still in Clue 1. I feel like I'm in like the 6th repeat of just 11 or 14 repeats. So I'm about halfway-ish. So I had talked about the last time that I saw a lot of people noping out, a lot of people were quitting, and then that I really wanted to keep going. When I started the make-along, I pretty much knew that there was a very good chance that I wasn't going to like the end result because I have a hard time looking at a lot of his patterns where I just don't get it. But I wanted to do it for the, you know, the learning and the stitches and all that stuff, and I was committed to it. So here's my feelings now after a few weeks. So I love Clue 1. I love the chevron thing. I don't love making it. The constantly casting on and binding off stitches is not fun, but I love how it looks. Love it. Do I love the end result shawl? No, just me personally. I think it's cool, the different techniques and stuff, but what's really gotten me to change my mind about it is there's been some podcasts I've watched who have, like, for instance, Nitty Natty, who knows exactly how many hours each clue has taken them. And like as soon as I hear, you know, this clue took me 32 hours just for this clue, it like puts it in perspective where I'm like, okay, a shawl I don't really care for that I probably won't wear. For one section, do I want to spend 32 hours on that section when I know I'm not going to wear it? Not really. So then my dilemma was, but I love what I'm working on right now. So what I think I'm going to do as of right now, I think I am going to keep going with Clue 1 and then just finish it, block it, and have a decorative piece. Because I love chevrons, as we can see from my blanket, and I just think it would look cool as kind of like a hanging. Because that section you bind off anyway, and I was talking to a friend, and you know those loopholes are open, but I was thinking of just hanging on a decorative like curtain rod and hanging it on the wall. So that's where I'm at right now with the Stephen West make along. Is I think I'm going to continue with Clue 1 and be done. So we'll have gone into 2 skeins of yarn. They were both from my stash. I'll just put the rest back in my stash. And I'm okay with that. So again, we'll see if that changes by the next podcast, but that's where I'm at right now. So I'm curious to know, did you guys finish it? Did you nope out? Are you not into mystery knit-alongs? Are you just barreling through despite not liking it? So tell me below. So I probably will not do another mystery knit-along. Not saying I don't do any Stephen West makes, but I kind of want to know what I'm getting into. I do appreciate the make-along videos. I think he is just so thorough, and you definitely shouldn't not do the knit-along because of fear. If you're a new knitter, that shouldn't be a problem because he has these videos that are so great and he literally takes you through step by step. So that is not the issue at all. I'm not feeling it. So, and there's so many other things I want to make that I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that much time with it. So what I've been doing at home is I'll pick it up one morning. I will do one repeat and then I'll put it down. Because I'm like, okay, casting on and binding off twice, in 2 different colors. I'm like, that's enough for right now. So it's still slow going, even though I'm going to finish that one, but I'm determined to finish that section. So that's where I'm at. All right, so that is it for all my makes. So let's talk about podcast of the week. The podcast of the week is Knitting McPurley, who is Devin. She's in the United States. She has a shop online. She dyes yarn. She is a pattern designer. She has other little things like she makes these beautiful necklaces that are like stitch marker holders and different wool washes. She does like a different scent per season. And I love her podcast. Her podcast, again, isn't like a standard podcast. She has like a word of the week, like purling, and then she goes all the way back to history where that word first came from, and then down the line. It's very informative. She has stories that different knitters will post good, bad, sad stories regarding knitting, and she'll read those aloud. So it's super fun. It's super enjoyable. She posts weekly, and her podcasts are always under an hour, I'm pretty sure. So definitely check her out. All right. So I'm not going to talk about spinning this week because I did start spinning some Paradise Fiber Mediterranean, the bright blue I showed last podcast, but I barely got started and I didn't even bring my spinning stuff here. So we're going to go into acquisitions. And I have some here to show. The one acquisition I got before I left was Mustache Yarns. And again, I'll put up a picture. And she uploads Star Wars themed yarns twice a year. So this was the second time she did it. Other one is usually May the 4th. So I, again, wanted to make a pair of socks for my friend, Scott. We do a weekly online Star Wars game that we play against each other. And he is a huge Star Wars fan. And so I asked his wife to go online and pick which color he liked. And she picked the Palpatine colorway inspired by him. So I got that yarn and I'm going to make him a pair of socks. All right, so now I have gotten some acquisitions on my way up to Iowa, and since I've been here, so I'm sorry for all of the paper. So the first stop I made on my way up here, not too far off the trek, I usually stop at Unraveled Yarn Boutique. It is in Paragould, Arkansas. I've talked about them before. And so I stopped in. They have a new location, which is now, she has a shop with her husband that is half bookstore, half yarn store. And a big, beautiful corner seating area. So super nice. And eventually, they're also adding coffee in that scenario. So you can come, drink your coffee, buy a book, buy some yarn. I mean, it's heaven. So I wanted to go see the new shop, and I bought some stuff. So right when I came in, I went over and saw this. And you know how sometimes your eyes see something and you're like, okay, don't pick it up yet. Like, look at everything. I just kept coming back to this. I don't know what it's going to be, but I bought 2 skeins of it. So this is Ba Yarns in La Jolla, which is 100% superwash merino. And I love the name too. My Chihuahua Bites. So it's kind of like a deep rose gold colorway. And I just love it. And it's so soft and squishy. And then she had like a big old bargain bin of yarn. And I just picked up, on my chair to see, but Patton's Croy, which is a very nice tough yarn for socks. She had a bunch of different colorways, but I just picked up this one. It is muslin colorway, so just an ivory, and I thought this would be great for heel-toe cuffs in socks. And then the last thing I got is my favorite wool wash, which is Eucalyptus Delicates and the Jasmine scent. I was running low, and so I saw she had it, and so I picked up one of those, and that's all I got from her. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Buy yarns. All right, so then the other thing is just yesterday. If you have been with me for a while, I have a video on my channel, which if you haven't seen, I highly suggest it. In my little hometown in Iowa, right outside of it, there is a alpaca farm. And I mean, not just like a few alpacas, a lot of alpacas. And she also has a yarn barn shop that is just beautiful. So this last summer when I was here, I set up to meet Julie, who is one of the owners, her and her husband, and I got to interview her. And then I took footage all around the shop and all the alpacas. There was a baby alpaca that had just been born. And I just love going there every time I'm here because, again, I'm from a town of about 6,000 people. It's just, I can't believe there's some place so beautiful with yarn right outside my hometown now. So I went out there yesterday. Julie wasn't there, unfortunately. They go to all kinds of shows for their alpacas. So she was in Oklahoma. But I went and this was my first time going there since I've started spinning. And I think until you're a spinner, you don't look to see if there's fiber anywhere because you don't care. It doesn't apply to you. So I'm like, oh, I want to go see if there's alpaca fiber that I can get. So I went out there and there was fiber. So this is it. I don't know. Okay, you can kind of see the sparkle in there. Okay, you can kind of see the twinkling. But, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So this is alpaca that I am psyched to go home and spin. So I bought fiber. And then she has yarn there that is both processed from her alpacas. And then, of course, she pretty much stays on theme where she has alpaca things. So other yarn companies that have alpaca, basically to share the love. And so I got some Surrey alpaca. And this is lovely. And this is 25 grams each. What is this? The Alpaca Yarn Company in their Halo watercolor base. And it is approximately 257 yards. It is 78% Surrey alpaca, 22% nylon. So, I mean, I thought it could go lovely with the brown fiber I got after I spin it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but yeah, so that's all the yarn related things I got. But I also got a pair of earrings, and I was wearing them yesterday. They are leather earrings. They're very long on me, and I love them. They're just awesome. So that is what I've purchased. I forgot one other thing. On the way up here, I stayed with my friend Christy, as like a halfway point. I spent the night there so I could break up my drive a little bit. And she gifted me, she had gotten a big old purchase bag of Erin Lane bags. And she sweetly gifted me this cute little bag, which look, has alpacas on it. And I'm glad she told me this. So this bag has this little thing here in the back. I would have gotten that and been like, what in the world is that useful? She says that she hangs this when her husband's driving somewhere. She clips this in the car, and then that way it just hangs like this, and it's easy to knit from. So anyway, so thank you, Christy. And that is all my purchases. Yeah. All right, so last thing to talk about is goals. It is the first podcast of November, which is when I usually talk about goals. So my goals for October were to finish one vanilla sock, which I did. I finished my staple linen top. I literally finished it October 31st. Finished my tassels in the sky, which I did. And my other goal was to finish the body of the single malt, which I did not do. So that's the only one I didn't do. And then my yarn count for in and out yarn is I had 9 skeins come in and I had 8 skeins go out. So my totals, if you remember last time I mentioned my yarn, it was exactly even. My totals now as of the end of October were 121 skeins in the door for the year and 120 out. And here's what tipped the scales. So now that I've been spinning my own yarn, so let me start with, how do I count that? If you're new here, how do I count my in and out? So any full skein that is 50 grams or 100 grams or more counts as one skein in. Because a 50 gram skein, I can complete a pair of socks. So if it's 50 grams, I'm counting it as a full skein in. Lower than that, like these 2 Surrey alpacas, they're 25 grams each. I'm not counting those. So 50 grams or above is a skein of yarn coming in. And the yarn going out is after I have finished it. Like for instance, last night on my new DK sweater, I finished 1 ball. So that is 1 out the door. 1 is gone. I know Nitty Bat Natty, when she preps her sweater, she counts all of those out. I don't count them as out until I have used them. And it doesn't count scraps. So like if I finish a sweater and I'm halfway through a ball of yarn, I still count that skein as gone. It is now in the scraps pile. But what I had to think about is now that I'm making my own yarn, I have to follow the same rules. So when I have spun up the yarn, plied up the yarn, washed it, all the things, and skeined it up, if it's at least 50 grams, it needs to be counted as a skein of yarn in my stash. Well, for a long time, all those things I was doing wasn't that much. They were very small. So I didn't count them. But I finally got 1 skein where it was over that. And so I had to count it as a skein, which tipped the scale over 1 more yarn in than out. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm still, my goal for the year was just more yarn out than in. But honestly, at this point, I'd also be happy if it was even. That means I'm not adding more to my stash than using. So if it was exactly even, I'd be okay with that too. So we'll see. We have 2 more months. Yeah. So my goals for November is 1, I would love to catch up on my Chevron throw. Again, we'll see if that happens. I have 2 more months of colors. I just have to get motivated to use it. So it could happen. We'll see. The other one is to finish my other ambidextrous socks. So I have a finished object with that. Again, love that pattern. I just have to For me, for socks, the hardest part is casting it on. I don't love casting on socks. I don't know why. This is why I never in the past have had second sock syndrome, because as soon as I'm done with the first one, I immediately cast on. And I don't like socks laying around in bed. Like, you know, I have this vanilla sock I'm working on that very slowly, but it's one sock, and I will keep working on that until I do another one. So I'd like to finish that, and again, finish the body of the single malt. Because if I finish the body of the single malt, then I just have the 2 sleeves. So yeah, I really need to work on that. All right. I don't think that there is anything else. So I thank you so much for watching me. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much again to the new subscribers for being here. Congratulations to Kate. Please make sure you email me as soon as you see this so I can get it out the door to you and you can open it up starting December 1st if you want. Thank you all so much. Please check out the Irish Meadows video on my channel if you haven't, to see the footage I've previously taken of the alpaca farm. It is just such a special place. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Happy knitting!